Okay, let's unpack this. So today we're doing a deep dive into something that honestly looks pretty dry on the surface. We've got this stack of formatting guidelines for weekly digital discussion posts, like from a college communication class.
Right. Seems kind of administrative, maybe.
Totally. But when we actually dug in, what we found wasn't just, academic red tape. It felt more like a blueprint for writing anything important online.
Yeah.
Like a shortcut to making sure people actually get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. These rules, they seem really restrictive, almost pedantic, right? Designed just to make students, jump through hoops.
Uh-huh.
But they actually end up being this amazing guide to, modern digital writing, right? Pulling out the practical bits here, the stuff that goes beyond what you say.
And focuses on how you say it.
Yeah.
How you make it unavoidable, instantly clear.
Exactly. The idea is if you make it super easy to read, well, then it's pretty much impossible to ignore. That's the core philosophy we found.
And these rules, they don't mess around. They're kind of tough, which honestly is probably why they work. Attention spans, we all know, they're not getting any longer.
Definitely not.
If you don't grab your reader right away, immediately, you've lost them. So let's start with their first big tool for that instant clarity. This rule basically ensures your reader or, your boss, your client, whoever knows your main point before they even get into the weeds.
Right. This is their rule number one. And it seems tailor-made for how people actually read online these days, which is mostly scanning.
Okay, so what is it?
You absolutely have to start your entire response with a clear thesis statement. And crucially, it has these two, rigid formatting things that make it pop.
Okay. I think I saw this. It has to be in bold, right?
Yep, bold. And it has to be in its own paragraph, all by itself.
Standing alone, like a headline almost. The signpost for everything else.
Exactly. It's the lighthouse, as you say.
But hang on. I got to push back a little here. Doesn't that kind of fly in the face of, traditional essay writing? Letting the argument build. And what about length? How long can this bold standalone thesis be?
Okay, yeah, good point. And that's where the real kicker is, the length constraint. It's just 5 to 10 words.
Wait, 5 to 10 words, that's it?
That's it. Super tight. It's like an intellectual pressure cooker, you know? It forces you to synthesize immediately. No room for waffle, no burying the lead.
5 to 10 words for potentially a complex topic. Isn't there a danger there? Like oversimplifying things, making nuanced ideas sound, a bit basic? Where's the space for complexity?
That's a fair challenge. I think the argument these sources would make is that the constraint doesn't remove the nuance. It forces you to break it down later into really digestible chunks. It's about structure over just sheer volume, you see.
Okay.
If you can actually summarize your whole argument, your whole report, whatever it is, in a bold 10-word sentence, you've kind of done the hardest communication work already.
I can see the power in that. It's almost like writing the perfect email subject line, but one that carries the weight of the entire message inside. It tells the reader exactly what they're getting into and why they should bother.
You got it. It's a promise you make right up front. And once you've got their attention with that bold thesis, the next trick is, keeping it. You hooked them.
But you can't immediately lose them in a wall of text.
Right. That's where this idea of digital chunking comes in. It's all about readability.
Okay, now this part I found really fascinating, tactically speaking. The guidelines shift right from that thesis hook into how the actual body should look. Rules about paragraph length, specifically for the screen.
Yeah, and they're strict. The rule is any supporting info has to be broken down, chunked into paragraphs of no more than 3 sentences. 1 to 3, that's your range.
1 to 3 sentences total per paragraph.
Total. And they're very clear this rule applies specifically to digital forums, emails, blogs, discussion boards, you name it. The stated goal, literally, is making it easy for everyone to read.
We've all been there, right? Opening a long email on your phone.
Oh, yeah. Your eyes just glaze over. You scroll looking for the point.
It reminds me of an old boss I had way before this stuff was common. He used to print out my long-winded emails and literally take scissors to them, chop them up on his desk to show me they needed to be shorter.
Wow. Well, these guidelines are like the digital version of that, but, less dramatic maybe.
Definitely less humiliating. So why 3 sentences? Is there a magic number there?
It seems to be a sweet spot. 3 sentences is usually enough room for, say, one core idea, maybe a claim, a bit of evidence, a quick wrap-up sentence. But it's not long enough to look visually daunting on a screen.
Right.
Anything more than maybe 3 or 4 lines of text? Research shows people start to feel that information scent fatigue. They have to work too hard to find the next point, and they just drift off, give up.
So the constraint forces each paragraph to be like a mini headline itself.
Pretty much a micro summary. And they even get specific about the shortest paragraph you can have.
Ah, yeah, I saw that. Max 3 sentences, but you can have a paragraph that's just 1 sentence long.
You can. But there's a catch, a really interesting one. If you write a single sentence paragraph, it must be the single most important point in your whole response.
Wow. So brevity equals importance.
Exactly. It turns what might seem like choppy writing into a tool for emphasis. You use that single sentence strategically. It makes the reader stop and think, okay, this must be the main takeaway. It beats that information overload.
That makes so much sense. Like if you're writing a quick update on Slack or something, and there's one critical risk factor, bam, give it its own line, its own paragraph.
Yep. It breaks the visual pattern, demands attention. It shows that structure isn't just formatting, it's part of the message itself. You're communicating with the white space, too.
Okay, so we've got the bold, super short thesis up front. Then we have these tight 1 to 3 sentence paragraphs for support. It feels very focused on just efficiency, structure. But the guidelines also stress it still needs substance, right? Academic rigor.
Absolutely. Efficiency without substance is just, well, empty formatting, which leads straight into their rule number 3. You have to back it up. Mandatory citations.
Okay, how does that work?
The post has to use at least one direct quotation from the assigned TechXT book. That's the minimum.
Just one.
Well, they say one is required, but they strongly suggest 2 or 3 quotes is better. Shows you've really engaged with the material properly.
Right. Okay, now let's layer in that other constraint we mentioned, the total word count for the whole post. What was it?
It's tiny. Just 200 to 300 words for the entire initial post.
200 to 300. Okay, that changes everything.
It really does. It makes the whole thing like a little rhetorical puzzle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Think about fitting all that in, your 5-10 word bold thesis, maybe 3 or 4 short paragraphs, and 1 to 3 direct quotes.
Phew. Yeah, that means every single quote you pick has to be absolutely spot on. No room for long block quotes or something that's only vaguely related.
No wasted words. It forces you to be incredibly economical. You need the perfect sentence or phrase from the source that directly supports your tiny thesis. In a work context, that's like linking to the exact data point or the specific clause in a policy doc.
Don't just make a claim. Prove it concisely.
Precisely. And then there's the 4th rule, which is almost deceptively simple. Just answer the prompt.
Seems obvious, but given the constraints.
You literally have 0 space to wander off topic. Every single word, every short paragraph, every quote has to directly serve that main argument you stated in bold right at the beginning.
So looking at the bigger picture here, what these guidelines seem to do is create this like intense balancing act.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You've got these super strict structural rules, short paragraphs, tiny word count, mashed right up against the need for real substance and proof, like the required quotes.
It's teaching students, or really anyone who adopts this, that good digital communication has to be both incredibly efficient and properly grounded. Authoritative, even.
You can't just be quick. You have to be quick and right and backed up. It forces you to be a ruthless editor of your own thoughts.
Which is often the hardest part of writing anything, really. Okay, so we've covered the what and how of the writing itself. But the guidelines didn't stop there, did they? They also had some really sharp advice about when to post and how to engage. More strategic than just formatting.
They did. And this part really taps into this sort of metagame of online discussions, whether it's a class forum or an internal company channel where ideas need to get noticed.
So there's the deadline, right? The hard stop.
Yep, midnight on Wednesday for the first post. But, and this is key, they really push you to start posting much earlier, like on Monday.
And it's not just about avoiding procrastination, is it? They spell out a clear strategic advantage.
They're surprisingly upfront about it. They literally say the earlier you post, the more the class will be talking about your ideas. They frame it as making the whole thing easier and more fun for you.
That's fascinating. It completely changes the dynamic from completing an assignment to influencing a conversation.
Totally. If you wait until Wednesday night, 11:59 p.m., you're basically just reacting. The conversation's already been shaped, maybe even decided by everyone who posted earlier. Your brilliant idea might just get lost.
An afterthought.
Exactly. But if you post Monday morning with that clear, bold thesis and your tight paragraphs, you're setting the agenda, people are responding to you, the discussion starts to revolve around your points.
You get to frame the debate. Own the initial narrative. I can see how that applies way beyond a classroom. Think about pitching an idea internally at work.
Oh, absolutely. Post late to the Slack channel or the ideas forum and you're playing catch up. Post early and you define the terms. You create this kind of discussion gravity around your input.
Inertia, yeah. People respond to what's already there.
And there's one last piece related to making sure all this structure actually works visually. A final instruction.
What's that?
They tell students to follow the examples shown in class. And crucially, to compare their posts to how their classmates' posts look before submitting. Like a visual spot check.
Compare the visual look. That sounds subtle, but maybe quite important. What's the takeaway there for digital communication generally?
I think it reinforces that good formatting isn't just about following rules. It's about creating a certain look and feel. It's visual communication. It's not enough to have a 3-sentence paragraph, technically. It needs to look like a clean, scannable chunk.
Like recognizing a pattern.
Yeah, it emphasizes learning by seeing, by conforming visually to what works. It makes sure those short paragraphs are clearly distinct, easy to grab onto with your eyes, just like the good examples they saw. It's building a template for communication that feels instantly trustworthy because it looks right.
Okay, wow. So let's try and tie this all together. We started with what looked like boring formatting rules.
Yep, pretty dry stuff.
And we've ended up with something like a mini masterclass in how to be clear, concise, and strategic online. So for you listening, we think there are 4 really practical things you can pull from this and use, like tomorrow, in your own emails or posts or updates. Number 1, that bold 5 to 10 word thesis statement right at the top. Instant clarity, tells people exactly what you're arguing.
Essential.
2, adopt that digital chunking. Break your supporting points into super short paragraphs, just 1 to 3 sentences each. Think readability on screens. Avoid that wall of text fatigue.
Crucial for holding attention.
3, make sure your points have backup. Ground them in solid evidence, specific quotes if it's academic, maybe specific data points or links if it's professional, and do it all within tight constraints. Prove your point efficiently.
Substance matters. Efficiency plus authority.
And 4, the timing strategy. Post early. Get your ideas in first, especially in ongoing discussions. Aim to shape the conversation. Don't just react to it. Monday beats Wednesday.
Definitely. Own the starting point. So this brings us to a final thought, maybe something for you to chew on after this deep dive. These rules, okay, they were cooked up for grading students in a communications class.
Right.
But that focus on the immediate summary, the chunking for readability, the visual check, the strategic timing, isn't that actually a near-perfect recipe for high-stakes communication in, say, a fast-paced corporate setting?
Interesting question.
Think about it. Those quick updates on Slack or Teams,
Yeah.
an executive summary, project briefs. Where in your work life could applying these almost brutally simple rules, max 3 sentences here, 10 bold words there, dramatically boost how clear you are?
Make sure your most important ideas don't just get sent, but actually get understood. Maybe even acted on.
Exactly. That kind of learned efficiency, that clarity forced by constraints. Maybe that's the ultimate hidden advantage in professional communication today. Something to think about.